Hey everybody, I'm Liddell Steiner. I'm here at Tilmor, and we're going to be doing an overview of how to assemble the trailing arm, which allows you to put finger weeders onto your toolbar for cultivation. So to get started, we're going to jump over here. We're going to look at the components that consist of the trailing arm kit with the 15-inch fingers. So right here, I've got the trailing arm off of the unit right now. You can see it's a long arm with a base mount, and it also comes with this kit. This kit has all the hardware to be able to fairly easily adapt it to the toolbar. So here's the backer plate that would get bolted on here on the other side of your toolbar. This allows you to do adjustments from 2-inch toolbars up to 7x7-inch toolbars. You'll notice inside the hardware pack, I've got two different lengths of carriage bolts. So we've got, well, those two are the same. There we go. Let's get one that's a little bit different. So we've got a longer carriage bolt and a shorter carriage bolt. Again, if you're going to be using the 7x7 or 6x6 toolbar, you're going to want the longer carriage bolt. If you're down to a 4x4 or 3x3, you're going to want to use the shorter one. So we provide hardware for both options there. Also in the kit, you're going to find 2 extra torsion rods. These are the springs that get put inside of here. So maybe I'll just take a quick moment and show you this. So inside this pocket, there are these torsion rods, and they are put vertically. There's going to be a total of 4 of each. So 4 orange and 4 red. Okay? These allow you to vary the amount of spring pressure once you get this set up. So we're going to leave that there for right now. I'm going to do a video later, that shows more about that at a later point. So we're just going to put those away. And so the next step I'm going to show you is now how to put all of the tooling onto the trailing arm and what that all consists of. So I'm going to set this down. And on the table here, I'm going to show you the different pieces and components. So we've got the pieces that make up the finger weeders. We've got the finger weeder hub assembly, the drive plate, okay, and then the 15-inch finger that gets put in between. All right? So that's going to be the finger weeder assembly. We're going to do that in a second. And then we also have the bars and the clamps that will make up the system to allow you to make this adjustable. All right. So I'm going to first take this clamp. It's the AA9082, and we're going to open this guy up. All right. So once you have these clamps, you can see that they just get carriage bolts put through. Again, the nice thing about using a carriage bolt is it allows you to tighten the one side without having to have 2 wrenches. So it's going to be part of the design here. So this clamp allows us to use a 2-inch makes a cross of a 2x2-inch clamp there. So we're going to do this. This guy's just a little bit of a snug, and we're going to bring this over. We're going to slide it on, just like that. Now we're going to bring the 2x2-inch bar, and it's going to get slid through here. Now you're going to notice there's some different holes on these bars. These holes really are not crucial in whether they're up or down, doesn't really matter. The most important thing is it allows us to index, to kind of know that things are square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count over, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to make sure that these 2 are centered on here, and then we're going to give this a little bit of a tighten. And we're going to also tighten this side here. Okay, so once we got our crossbar on, now we're going to add in the vertical pieces. And these clamps are AA9084, and they're going to be a little bit different. And the reason why they're different is this makes a cross clamp from a 2-inch tube to an 1.5-inch tube. So the same process of putting on the carriage bolts, and then we're going to do this times 2. And then I'm going to jump forward and we're going to put the vertical shafts in. Okay, now that I have the cross clamps with their hardware in it, we're going to slide through the longer 1.5-inch mod bar. Again, these can be put any direction. They could be put backwards, they could be put forwards. I'm going to put them backwards in this situation, but again, not crucial. We're going to turn those down, actually. I did realize I do need to make sure that these holes, these 3 holes, are faced in, okay? And that's going to be crucial because that's what we're going to mount the finger weeder to here shortly. So I'm going to put those in. I'm going to give this a quick snug. Go. We're going to put the other one on. So here I'm putting this on, and I'm going to make sure that when I put this on, these square holes are lateral facing inward. That's what we're going to attach the finger weeders to here shortly. So. Okay. All right. So now we have the main structure together. We have it mounted to our toolbar and then the cross clamps set up. We're going to assemble the finger weeders now. This is a pretty simple process again, but I'll just show you what needs to be done as you go through this process. So we're going to take the hub. There's a little hardware pack that's tied to it, and we've got a couple different sizes of bolts, and they do 2 different things. So first we're going to put the bolts through that hold the finger weeder. Okay? So these are the little longer ones and thinner ones, and they're going to pop down through here like this. Okay. You'll notice in the 15-inch finger there's 2 different bolt patterns. So only one of the bolt patterns works for our system. And then we're going to put this plate on the back, just like that. And we're going to add the 4 locking flange nuts. All right, so then once we have these on, I'm going to tighten them down with an impact. It's important to note here when you get through this part of the process that you don't want to necessarily over tight. So you just want the polyurethane of the finger to be snug but not squished. So I'm going to I'm going to use a 1/2 inch socket. Just going to go through and get them all at least in place here. This carriage head, oh, there it goes. Doesn't. So we're going to go down and just snug. I find the best way to make sure that they're snug but not over tight is by having a wrench. You can just make sure that they are against, but not squeezing. Like that right there was a little bit, I could go a little bit more. This one right here as well, just a few more turns. Likewise that one. Okay, so there we have one of the units set up. We're going to do this times 2, so I'm going to grab the other one and put that together as well. All right, so here we have the finger weeder. It's assembled. We're going to put them on. One thing that some people have questions about are grease zerks. We do not have grease zerks for our finger weeders. They are sealed bearings. We've had really good success with that, so no need to worry about greasing them. You'll also find that we have 2 carriage bolts for mounting the finger weeder onto your system. The shorter one is used for if you have like a flat shank like this and you don't need a long carriage bolt to go through, voila, we've got that covered. But in our instance today, we're going to be using it with the large 1.5" toolbar. So you're going to put these smaller carriage bolts aside. You will not be using them. We're going to be using the longer ones. All right? So I'm going to move my materials down here and show you what we got going on. All right, so I switched to a 9/16 socket and wrench. That's what we're going to be using to mount these on. So we're going to run a carriage bolt through like this, and it's going to run through just the bottom 2 like that, and put the nut on the back, and voila. Again, you can do pretty much any kind of configuration. This could go on the opposite side, however you would see fit. So we've just mounted the one finger weeder on there, and I'm going to bring the other one over here. Get this mounted up. Yeah, a lot of our systems use square holes. Again, this allows us to use carriage bolts a lot easier and get things positioned better than if they were just a round hole and a regular bolt. So it makes it so you don't need a wrench or a tool. Okay. So that is the setup there of the finger weeders. And now we're going to get the adjustment set up so that as if we're going to go out to the field. Okay, so I'm going to move kind of up and look at the whole system here. You're going to notice that the trailing arm as we have it is not centered between the parallel units, okay, the row units. And while I could center them up, this allows me to show you the option to offset. So if you ever have an issue where you're clearance or getting in front of something and you can't quite get it centered, you can pretty easily move stuff so that it will allow you to be centered on the row with your row unit. So I'm just going to move this bar over and just kind of imagine that that is the center of the row there. So now we've moved everything over so that it's centered over the row. All right? I'm going to give this a quick snug again, just so that we're kind of positioned. And then we can do our final adjustments with the fingers and get them set up so that they're of equal distance. All right, so the way that the fingers work, you're going to want to run them so that they're either just touching or have up to about an inch of gap. Kind of depends on your comfort level of cultivation and your desire to get in there and learn how they can work. But this is the general setup of how you assemble the trailing arm onto your toolbar. You can look at my another video where I'll talk more about adjustments in the field and how to get things fine-tuned once you're there. But this is just the assembly process for the trailing arm. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, we're here to help get you going on how to get your trailing arm so you can cultivate with your current setups that you have. Thanks. Have a great day.